Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, May 28th, and this is Free News Arkansas. We're here to give you what's actually going on across the state, clear, concise, and no fluff. So let's get into it. We're going to start off in South Arkansas, where a major showdown is underway this morning over how much landowners should be paid for lithium extraction. The Arkansas Oil and Gas Commission is hearing a royalty proposal from SWA Lithium this morning. It's a joint venture between Canada-based Standard Lithium and Equinor, which is based in Norway. This is the third time that it will try to get its royalty payment approved by the commission. Their proposal is a 2.5% royalty rate based on the value of the lithium extracted from the brine under private land. Landowners would also get a $65 per acre annual fee, bringing the total package to around 3% based on current prices. But not everybody is in love with this plan. Weyerhaeuser, which owns major tracts of land in the region, filed a formal objection, calling the proposed rate unreasonably low. They say they've received royalty offers ranging all the way up to 10%. A group of local landowners organized under the South Arkansas Minerals Association is also pushing back. They want the commission to implement a sliding scale system. That would mean that royalty percentages would rise or fall with the price of lithium on the global market instead of being locked in at that 2.5% rate. Now, ExxonMobil, which operates brine extraction company Saltworks, has filed a letter supporting SWA Lithium's plan, saying it fairly reflects the risk and investment taken on by the developers. This hearing today only applies to SWA Lithium's Reynolds unit, which spans parts of Columbia, Lafayette, and Miller counties. But the decision could influence how future lithium extraction projects, like Exxon's, are structured in Arkansas. This is the third time a royalty plan has come before the commission. Previous proposals, including one that was as low as 1.8%, were rejected for not being fair and equitable and, frankly, for not having enough justification for the proposed rate. The stakes on this are very high. Lithium is considered a critical mineral by both the Biden and Trump administrations, and Standard Lithium has received $225 million in federal grant funding to develop their process in Arkansas. Today's hearing could help determine whether the region becomes a national leader in lithium and whether the people who own the land see their fair share of those profits. Moving from minerals to meals, there's still no decision on Arkansas's request to restrict sugary items from SNAP, the federal food assistance program. While Nebraska, Indiana, and Iowa have already been approved to implement bans this month, Arkansas's request is still pending at the USDA. So some items that the proposal would remove from SNAP are soda, including the low and no-calorie versions, sugary fruit and vegetable drinks that are actually under 50% juice, and most candy. Sanders has said that the move is about promoting health and fiscal responsibility, noting that 23% of SNAP purchases go toward junk food.
America spends $119 billion each year on food stamps, and nearly a quarter of that spending goes towards things like soft drinks, candy, and dessert. That's not a nutrition program. It's actively harming people's health. 1/3 of Arkansans have diabetes or are pre-diabetic. We need to make big changes if we're going to turn those statistics around.
If approved, the change would go into effect in July of 2026, and it would last for 5 years. All right, let's head outdoors now. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission has been busy with some big decisions and proposals at last week's meeting at DeGray Lake. First, they voted to restore the 2-day veterans and active duty military waterfowl hunt, returning to its original format. The hunt had been reduced to a single day for the 2024-25 season, but public comments made it clear that folks wanted it moved back to 2. So now the hunt will run February 7th to 8th of 2026 alongside the annual Special Youth Waterfowl Hunt. They also read the first proposals for some new hunting and boating rules. really related to some bad behavior that's been happening in wildlife management areas. Now, obstructing or harassing hunters or anglers would be a Class 4 violation if physical contact is involved, and Class 3 if it's verbal or disruptive. Reckless boating in wildlife management areas would come with stiffer penalties, and folks found guilty of violating public conduct rules would no longer be able to get their license revocation period reduced through an administrative appeals process. There's also a big change being considered for turkey season. The commission is proposing dividing the state into 5 hunting zones with staggered open dates, allowing some regions, especially in the South, to start a bit earlier. Rather than break down each zone here, we'll point you toward the Arkansas Game and Fish's website at agfc.com, where you can find full details on the proposed zone structure and other regulation changes. A final vote is expected at their June 19th meeting. Moving over to campaign season, it's already underway for 2026, and 2 Arkansas House candidates have stepped forward. First up is Representative Paul Childress. He's a Republican from Benton, and he's announced that he'll run for re-election in House District 83. That covers parts of Benton, Bryant, and Hot Springs Village. Childress is a former police officer and insurance agent, and he is leaning into real-world experience in his campaign. In House District 20, and I apologize, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Democrat Max Diekler has announced his campaign for the seat currently held by Representative Denise Garner. That seat covers northeast Fayetteville and nearby unincorporated areas. Diekler is an attorney, small business owner, and former Washington County election commissioner. His platform includes expanding affordable housing, public education, child care access, voting rights, and support for small businesses and public lands. Now, Denise Garner, again, who currently holds that seat, has announced she's running for Senate District 30. That is the seat currently held by Senator Greg Leding in Fayetteville, and Greg is term limited. Moving over to sports, it's a big weekend for Razorback fans. Arkansas baseball has secured the number 3 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, and we will host a regional starting on Friday. The Hogs will face North Dakota State at 2 p.m., and also in the regional is Creighton and Kansas. If we win against North Dakota State, we'll likely face Tennessee, the number 14 seed, in a super regional. And finally, Arkansas is mourning the loss of a familiar voice and a local legend. Ed Buckner, former chief meteorologist at THV 11, passed away on Monday at age 59 after complications from cancer. Buckner joined THV 11 in 1996, and he played a key role in the station's rise in the late 90s, especially after the 1997 tornado outbreak, when THV 11's upgraded radar stayed live while other stations went off the air. He stepped down in 2020 due to Tourette's syndrome, a condition that he talked openly about on schools and on the air. He also wrote and performed children's songs about weather, including Roy G. Biv and Puffy the Cumulus Cloud. Buckner is survived by his wife Carolyn and 4 children, including THV reporter Brooke Buckner, and 7 grandchildren. Ed Buckner was deeply loved around the state, and he'll be deeply missed. So that wraps up your Free News Arkansas Daily Briefing for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more from around the state. Stay safe and stay informed.